Welcome to Vintage America Rewind. Step back in time to an America that feels like a distant dream. Before smartphones, before streaming, before everything became disposable, there was a world filled with simple pleasures, quirky inventions, and traditions we have almost completely forgotten. Today, we're uncovering 100 things from 1950s America that quietly vanished from our lives. How many do you remember? The American home of the 1950s was a universe of its own, colorful, practical, and filled with gadgets that promised to make life easier, even if they didn't always deliver. Every morning, glass bottles clinked on porches. The milkman knew your family by name, left extra cream on Sundays, and somehow always arrived before sunrise. Privacy? What's that? Neighbors shared phone lines, eavesdropping was common, and gossiping was an Olympic sport. Laundry day meant hand-feeding wet clothes through mechanical rollers. Fingers got pinched, but clothes came out dry-ish. Before every home had a freezer, the Iceman delivered giant blocks. Kids chased his truck for free chips to suck on hot summer days. Basements had special chutes where coal was dumped for heating. Dirty, loud, and absolutely essential every winter. Dialing a single number with a 9 or 0 felt like a workout. And if you messed up, start over. You'd twist, turn, stand on one leg, and beg someone to hold it right there just to get 3 fuzzy channels. Aluminum foil was a luxury. You smoothed it out, reused it, and your grandma still has a ball of it somewhere. No electric gadgets, just a sharp blade, some elbow grease, and the occasional sliced finger. Air conditioning was for rich folks. Everyone else had box fans wedged into windows, rattling through humid nights. But homes weren't the only place magic happened. Food in the 50s was simple, strange, and surprisingly creative. Jello held everything together, literally, and no one questioned it. Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, and peas, all in perfect little compartments. Fancy. Jello wasn't just dessert. It held tuna, vegetables, cottage cheese, sometimes even hot dogs. Don't ask why. Teenagers crowded into booths, sipping cherry cokes and sharing fries while the jukebox played Elvis. Every grocery trip earned stamps. Fill a book, redeem for toasters, lamps, or a slightly disappointing blender. Waitresses on roller skates brought trays to your car window. Peak American innovation. The bread truck rolled through neighborhoods, and nothing smelled better than a Hawaiian warm loaf handed through your screen door. If it fit in a dish and could be baked, it became dinner. Tuna casserole, green bean casserole, mystery casserole, milk, soda, ketchup, all in glass. You'd return empties for deposits and feel like a responsible citizen. Housewives gathered, gossiped, and bought plastic containers like it was the event of the year. Because it was. If it was good enough for space, it was good enough for breakfast. Orange powder mixed with water equals science. Entertainment in the 50s wasn't instant. It was something you planned for, waited for, and treasured. Families piled into cars, parked under the stars, and watched movies on giant outdoor screens. Popcorn optional, mosquitoes guaranteed. Music wasn't streamed, it was an event. You'd flip the record, dust the needle, and pray it didn't skip. You had one chance a week to watch Bugs Bunny. Miss it? Too bad. Disco balls, wood floors, and the constant fear of falling in front of your crush. School gyms transformed into dance floors. No shoes allowed, just socks, sweat, and awkward slow dances. A nickel bought you a paper bag of candy that lasted all afternoon. Now it buys nothing. Every corner store had spinning racks of comics. Kids would spend hours reading without buying. Sorry, shopkeepers. Families huddled around radios, imagining every scene as voices told thrilling stories. TV stole the show. Thursday nights meant bowling shirts, rented shoes, and beer frames. Everyone had a team. Shake it like a... well, instant photos were magic. Step outside, and getting from point A to point B in the 50s wasn't just about the destination, it was an adventure, filled with chrome, tail fins, and roadside attractions that made you forget you were even going anywhere. They pumped your gas, checked your oil, washed your windshield, and smiled. Full service wasn't a luxury, it was standard. Clever rhyming ads appeared on sequential signs along highways. You'd read them aloud, laugh, and remember the brand forever. The ultimate family hauler. Fake wood on the sides, kids piled in back, no seatbelts, pure chaos. Before blinkers were reliable, drivers stuck their arms out the window. Left, right, or stopping. Your arm did the talking. Free paper maps at every fill-up. You'd unfold them across the dashboard and argue about directions for miles. Strangers picked up strangers. It was called being neighborly. Today, absolutely not. Long-distance buses were packed with families, soldiers, and dreamers crossing America, one rest stop at a time. Giant dinosaurs, mystery spots, the world's largest ball of twine. Every road trip had at least 3 weird stops. Kids bounced around the back seat like popcorn. Somehow, everyone survived. Before highways dominated, trains connected towns, and the dining car was where you felt fancy. Childhood in the 50s meant scraped knees, chalk dust, and a freedom that today's kids can't even imagine. Desks had little holes for ink bottles. Spills were common, stains were permanent, and penmanship was everything. Metal, slides in summer sun, merry-go-rounds that spun into oblivion, and monkey bars over concrete. Survival of the fittest. No buses for short distances. Kids walked in groups, rain or shine, and yes, sometimes it really was uphill. Every lunch came with a small glass bottle of milk. You'd poke a straw through the foil cap and chug. Misbehave? The principal had a wooden paddle with your name on it. Parents didn't complain. They agreed. Hours spent perfecting loops and swirls. Now, it's a lost art most kids can't even read. Cold War fears meant hiding under desks during atomic bomb drills, as if a wooden desk could save you. Kids played outside for hours, tag, kickball, marbles. No screens, no supervision, just pure chaos. Hairnets, serving spoons, and homemade everything. They fed you like you were their own grandkid. No instant online grades. You had a few blissful days before your parents opened that envelope. Work in the 50s was straightforward. Clock in, do your job, clock out. Loyalty was rewarded, pensions were real, and a handshake meant something. Rows of women typing in sync on manual typewriters. Loud, efficient, and the backbone of every office. Want a duplicate? Slide carbon paper between sheets and type hard. Messy fingers guaranteed. Men carried leather briefcases to work like badges of honor. Inside, a sandwich and yesterday's newspaper. You worked for one company from graduation to retirement. A gold watch was your reward. Men wore suits and hats daily. Women wore dresses and gloves. Casual Friday didn't exist. Clack, clack, ding. Every letter took effort, and mistakes meant starting over or using whiteout. Ashtrays on every desk, smoke in every room. No one blinked. Vacuum cleaners, encyclopedias, brushes. Someone was always knocking, and somehow people bought. No online applications. You circled jobs in the classifieds and showed up in person. Work 30 years, get a pension, live comfortably. What a concept. Shopping wasn't about clicking add to cart. It was personal, local, and required actual human interaction. You could buy anything for a nickel or dime. Toys, candy, socks, goldfish. A treasure hunt every visit. Can't afford it today? Put it on layaway, pay overtime, pick it up when it's yours. No credit cards needed. Bring back your empties, get money back. Recycling before it was trendy. Thick catalogs arrived by mail. You'd circle dreams, mail in orders, and wait weeks for delivery. Clerks knew your name, wrapped purchases in paper, and tied them with string. Amazon who? Every purchase earned stamps. Lick, stick, save, redeem. A slow-motion rewards program. You didn't grab pre-wrapped meat. You asked the butcher, who cut exactly what you needed. Pharmacies had soda fountains, where soda jerks mixed drinks, scooped ice cream, and flirted. Saturday nights meant strolling downtown, peeking in store windows, and dreaming about what you'd buy someday. Bought it, it's yours. Store credit if you were lucky. The 50s were a golden age of innovation. Clunky, loud, and utterly fascinating. These gadgets promised the future, even if they barely worked. Television was still new. You watched what was on, or you turned it off. Big, boxy, and took 5 minutes to warm up before you heard a sound. Dad filmed everything in shaky, silent clips. Editing? Non-existent. Record your own voice, play it back. Mine equals blown. Gather around, dim the lights, and sit through 200 vacation slides. Riveting. Crank the handle, watch shavings fall, repeat. Electric. Fancy talk. Before whiteout, you had little strips of white tape. Ineffective, but better than nothing. Crank numbers, hear it clunk, watch the paper spit out totals. Calculators were science fiction. Loud, obnoxious, and required winding every night. Snooze button, dream on. One photo equals one bulb. Pop, flash, change bulb, repeat. Photography was commitment. Holidays in the 50s were homemade, heartfelt, and required effort. No Amazon Prime, no same-day delivery, just creativity and love. Shiny, delicate, and impossible to untangle. You'd drape it strand by strand. No store-bought anything. A sheet equals ghost, a box equals robot. Imagination equals everything. Kids roamed neighborhoods in packs, collected candy from strangers, and no one panicked. Big bulbs, serious heat, and if one burned out, the whole strand died. Your mailbox overflowed. You would display every card on strings across the living room. People gave fruitcakes. People pretended to like them. The cycle continued. Families watched Guy Lombardo's orchestra usher in the new year. It was tradition. Easter meant new clothes, fancy hats, and church, followed by a big family meal. Sparklers, firecrackers, and way too much trust in unsupervised kids with explosives. Pin the tail on the donkey, homemade cake, and your entire class invited. Simple magic. Community meant something in the 50s. You knew your neighbors, helped each other, and belonged to something bigger than yourself. Streets closed, grills fired up, and everyone came. Music, games, and pure neighborhood joy. The whole congregation gathered for food, fellowship, and gossip disguised as prayer requests. Men gathered for haircuts, shaves, and conversations about sports, politics, and life. Women sat under dryers, flipped through magazines, and shared every secret in town. Small towns rallied around volunteer firefighters. Parades honored them like heroes. Men joined clubs, did charity work, and wore funny hats at meetings. Community service was cool. You borrowed sugar, watched each other's kids, and waved from porches. Connection was automatic. Families sat outside, talked to passersby, and watched the world go by. Free entertainment. A handshake sealed agreements. Your word was your bond, and everyone trusted it. People stayed where they were born, raised families, and felt deeply rooted. Home wasn't just a place. It was everything. 100 things that shaped an era and quietly slipped away. Some we miss, some we don't, but all of them remind us of a simpler time when life moved slower and moments felt bigger. Which ones do you remember? Drop a comment, share your stories, and if you love this trip down memory lane, subscribe for more vintage America nostalgia. See you in the next one.